Gather around, gamers, as I enlighten you on the great console wars of the early 90s. Growing up, you were either a Sega or a Nintendo kid, and friendships and bonds were forged or lost depending on which side you were on. We would see this war happen again with PlayStation and Nintendo 64, but for a while there, it would seem like Mario and Sonic would forever be locked in the eternal battle for our love and affection. Thankfully, these days, gamers are a mostly united bunch, and Mario and Sonic have even taken on the Olympics together on the Nintendo Switch. Sonic Cross Shadows Generations for me was a surprise release, and when I saw it come out, I ducked out to the shops to grab a copy to see how Sonic, and Shadow of course, are going. What's it like? Put on your sneakers, tighten those laces, and prepare to go fast as we review Sonic Cross Shadow Generations on Nintendo Switch. Normally, this is a part of the video where I'd ask you to like and subscribe, but instead I wanted to talk about Movember. What's It Like is throwing its support behind my good friend Archie, who is leading the charge for Movember, which aims to take on mental health issues, suicide, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer. If you would like to know more or want to donate to his campaign, click on the card that's just popped up on your video. Now, let's get back to it. For those of you who don't know, Sonic Cross Shadows Generation is actually two great games in one package. Sonic Generations, which originally dropped in 2011, and it paid tribute to Sonic's origins by playing as the original Sonic, and a more modern one, each with their own gameplay style in both 2D and 3D respectively. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations is a completely new campaign that follows a fan favourite Shadow the Hedgehog, who will no doubt be further pushed into the spotlight this year when Keanu Reeves voices him in the upcoming Sonic 3 movie. Sonic Cross Shadows Generation also has 2D and 3D levels, but it handles that transition in a separate way from the original Sonic Generations. There's a surprising amount of lore in both games, with Sonic Cross Shadows Generation following Shadow as he is aboard the space Ark, while his friends get sucked into a vortex on Earth. I don't want to spoil too much of the story here, but in a really great departure from the original Sonic Generations, Sonic Cross Shadows Generations has an exceptionally well written narrative that's equal parts over the top, downright silly, and surprisingly emotional. Progression in both games is handled via the White Zone, an overworld to explore with its own secrets to unlock. Once you complete a certain amount of acts, you will unlock challenge gates that act as almost like a skill check barrier and offers challenges on particular moves or abilities that you must master to unlock keys and progress further. This is used liberally in Sonic Cross Shadow as you will learn new moves and abilities the further you progress through the story, including dark powers like being able to temporarily stop time to navigate hazards, or using a Chaos Spear to stun or defeat enemies. There's also a lot of unlockables and collectibles to find in the White Zone, which rewards players with concept art and music tracks that can be viewed in an interactive collection area. It's fantastic fan service, and it also moves into game preservation territory with what's on offer. As mentioned before, the gameplay is split into both 2D and 3D platforming levels, offering a bit of variety in each act. While 2D truly takes you back to the days of Sonic on Mega Drive, it's the 3D sections, in my opinion, that shine with over-the-top set pieces, wild course design, and a fantastic sense of speed. Until you hit something, of course. The strength of the gameplay lies in that sense of speed and the technicality of your movement. Do it well and you'll truly feel like you're travelling at supersonic speeds. Have a bad run, however, and you'll spend your time awkwardly trying to get back into the rhythm to reach the end of the course. You will grind, fly, glide, surf, and run all over the place in a very stylish fashion. And these over-the-top sections have a tendency to play themselves, sometimes snapping you back into reality when you run face first into an enemy or simply fall off a cliff. In both games, the worlds are lovingly designed, from the classic Green Hill Zone in Generations to the robotic war zone of Sunset Heights in Sonic Cross Shadow. And they have such a grandiose sense of scale, with a lot of environmental effects happening in the background. The 2D sections do their best to emulate this sense of scale, and while they are great by all means, this gamer just couldn't wait to see what the next 3D act had in store for me. Sonic Cross Shadows Generation looks amazing on the Switch, utilising a bright colour palette and stellar level design. The characters look sharp and are well animated, there's a great sense of speed, and there's also an array of unique and interesting enemies. The story is moved along with well animated cutscenes, as well as remastered ones for the original generations. Speaking of which, the original Generations, while having a slight touch up, doesn't have the same visual fidelity as Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. But this doesn't detract at all from the experience, and really is a testament to the engine holding up all these years later. It's subtle, not jarring. There are some mind-blowing effects while playing that were reminiscent of Marvel's movie Doctor Strange, where levels would meld and warp to your situation, which looks really visually impressive, and the frame rate performs consistently well in both docked and handheld mode, which lends to the sense of speed, especially in the 3D levels. All of this is backed by a heavy rock soundtrack that matches the action happening on screen. But for my hedgehogs looking into accessibility, there aren't any specific options so to speak of, so I recommend doing further research if Sonic Cross Shadow Generations suits your needs. All in all, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations is a formidable package with two fantastic adventures packed into one cartridge. Its fast, fun, and action-packed platforming will keep you engaged from start to finish, and Sonic Cross Shadows Generations will charm you with its over-the-top yet surprisingly deep narrative. There's a lot to do in both games, offering about 10 hours of gameplay for those looking to just zoom through the story. But completionists could easily double that time finding all unlockables and chows hidden throughout the world. Sonic Cross Shadows Generation is a love letter to the Sonic fans that Generations tried to be back in 2011, only this time it's bigger, bolder, and better in every way, shape, and form. So, what's it like? Sonic Cross Shadow Generations is like classic Sonic, with all the best parts of Sonic Adventure. I award it 90 out of 100, cementing Sonic Cross Shadows Generation as a What's It Like certified exceptional game. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. The best way that you can support What's It Like is by liking and subscribing. And for the month of November, I'm donating all my channel earnings to my good friend Archie's Movember campaign. So if you've just watched this video, you're already doing your part.